Keys to the city, baby. When you see us, so you know you really viewing greatness in the making. Double up on facts we stating. Podcasting, cruise control, city, state, the nation. So what you saying, what we saying, prime information. Facts, keys to the city, we unlocking the statements.
Streaming every Friday.
And ladies and gentlemen, we are back. Clovercrest Media presents Keys to the City. We're streaming on all social media platforms at Keys to the City. So comment, like, subscribe, share, or follow at Keys to the City. Plus, you can check out clovercrestmedia.com as well if you're looking for other podcasts. And if you're looking to try to get into this, you could check out clovercrestmedia.com and the Joseph Aguirre. Speaking of the Joseph Aguirre, he will be back next week as he made his triumphant return to the airwaves this week. So he'll be back next week because next week is a huge week, ladies and gentlemen. Ted, we got baseball in 6 days. A lot to talk about in baseball. We're going to have our baseball preview show at the beginning of next week because, well, we're 6 days away from a little baseball back. Shockingly, baseball got it done, but we will have no games impacted. So we're ready to do this. We're going to see how it goes, and I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be a fun season. But there's also a lot of other things happening. The NBA playoffs is officially it's grind time now. It's time to get it going because playoffs are right around the corner in the NBA. Plus, for wrestling fans, it's WrestleMania this week, the stupendous WrestleMania they're calling it in Dallas. I don't know if you saw the set, but it looks pretty legit. It's in Dallas again. But also, we're talking about stadiums and games and huge venues. Well, we have something going on tomorrow, ladies and gentlemen. I know it starts tonight with the women's, UConn women. 3 of the number 1 seeds are in it. So let's see if the Lady Huskies can beat the defending champs Stanford and then the South Carolina Gamecocks versus the Louisville Cardinals. Once again, kind of very similar. Let's relate it to the women because I feel like those, with the exception of Tennessee, are the blue bloods of women's college basketball. Now we look, and now let's go over 24 hours later. I think we can agree that we may be getting the 4 true blue bloods with the exception of Kentucky. You're probably getting the true 4 blue bloods of college basketball this weekend, Ted.
Well, you can also add UCLA to that list.
Too, but when we think of college basketball, like women's, you think of UConn, you think of Tennessee, Stanford, South Carolina, and Louisville recently. Notre Dame as well. Those are like the blue bloods. When you think of the men's, you would think of Duke, you think of Kentucky, you think of Kansas, UNC, UCLA, but they're starting to get back. But the newcomer, it seems like just recently, is the Villanova Wildcats. I mean, the success they've had, the recent success, is the reason why I put them right now over Kentucky, just because Kentucky has won a national championship since the Anthony Davis days. And they've been very disappointing. But you look at these 2 weekends, these games starting tonight and then tomorrow, as a college basketball fan. Now, I know that college basketball has taken a huge hit. College sports in general has taken a huge hit because of the one-and-done rule, specifically the men's. But you look at this, Ted. How can you not be excited for a weekend full for college basketball fans? How can you not be excited for a weekend that's about to happen within the next couple hours, starting tonight and going in tomorrow and finishing off Sunday and Monday? Like, how can you not be excited? So when you look at these 4 teams, Ted, would you consider these 4 the true blue bloods of college basketball currently?
Yeah, but I mean, listen, I would say you got to start with Villanova. You really do. I mean, there's probably no more dominant team in the past 10 years than Villanova basketball. I mean, just look what Jay Wright has done. He's got more NCAA wins in the last 5 years than any other coach. I mean, I think what do you have? Colin Gillespie or him? They were like 23-2 in the past, 3 tournament. I mean, their run the past 5 to 7 years has been remarkable.
Yeah,
that really stems from Jay Wright and his coaching ability. He might be the best coach in college basketball right now. You know, people say Coach K because of the legacy. I know if we had Charles on it, he would be bashing Coach K. And he says a lot of it has to do with the talent, again, the one and dones, and all this other BS. But you think about Villanova, right? And people never really think about Villanova in basketball, but you really have to really consider them one of the best franchises, universities, college basketball teams in the whole NCAA. I mean, Jay Wright, it was always like he couldn't get over the hump, and then he finally won one, and then I mean, every year they're in the Final Four. He gets the
Well, how
most
about
out
the thing of Jay Wright not going to the NBA and staying in Villanova? I mean, he's from the state of Pennsylvania. So when you think of that situation, to see that his growth and his success at such a fast pace, and now that he's finally established himself as maybe the guy in college basketball as best coach, it's amazing what he's been able to do and how Villanova has, when it came out of nowhere. I mean, in the sense of like back in the day, they were great. Back in the day, Georgia, Villanova, old Big East days, they were great. Then they had a little rough patch, but they came back and they've hit pedal to the metal, full throttle ahead. And that's what Villanova's done. The consistency that they've had, that program, the players the way that they recruit. It's not like Duke or Kentucky where they go after the big high-priced guys. That's what that's what it comes down to. But to see them grab these guys, these blue chip yet high recruited players around the country, to still get that with competition, the area that you're in and the competition you got to go against, to see players go there, it's a big job well done, and a bravo to Jay Wright of how he's established Villanova back to one of the powers of college basketball, just like Bill Wright has continued to do, or Bill Self has continued to do that for Kansas. Bill Wright. He's right. Coach K, since 42 years ago, it's amazing what he's been able to do.
Jay Wright going to third national championship in 6 years.
And the newcomer, Hubert Davis, looks like he's got something special brewing in UNC as well. So, I mean, job well done to all these coaches. The storylines, too, in these games, Ted. I mean, for ladies and gentlemen, you get to see Duke and North Carolina for the first time ever, probably the most historical rivalry in college basketball, and one of them in all sports, to say the least, playing for a right as a national championship. The last game that could possibly be of Coach K. By the way, 50-49. It's his 100th game against UNC. I mean, that's right there is a storyline that you could talk about for hours, let alone. Then you get Kansas and Nova. I mean, if you're a college basketball fan, ladies and gentlemen, how can you just not be ecstatic about this situation that's about to go underway within the next 24 hours in New Orleans?
Yeah, I mean that's the one thing that's remarkable is that these two teams, considering all the history behind these two teams, that they have never been in the Final Four. I was just looking at it. Jay Wright going for his third national championship in 6 years. You got Bill Self, who, listen, Kansas. Here's the thing. These 4 teams in the preseason, I believe Kansas was 2, Villanova was 4, Duke was number 9, and UNC was 18th. So especially for Villanova and Kansas, they've lived up to the billing. Now, if we speak about the games, what's unfortunate about the Villanova team is, and everyone knows by now, Justin Moore, I believe he's their best overall player on the team. Some people say Colin Gillespie, the 6-year senior, the point guard, who actually got hurt last year, the last game of the season against Creighton. So Villanova's used to playing, I don't know what the best word is, but playing down. They seem to be shorthanded. They're not a deep team.
No.
Neither is Duke. Neither is UNC. Kansas is probably the most deepest team of the 4 teams. Here's the funny part. So every team is so different. So you got those kind of blue collar, hard nosed, but they're really good basketball players in Villanova. Then you got Duke, which might be the most talented team, right? Overall. Then you got Kansas, which is you got some veteran players who are really blue collar, and then you got some exceptional NBA talent there. And then you got UNC, which I don't know what they have for NBA talent. Maybe they have 1 or 2 guys, but the team themselves, they've really grown. I mean, you saw the last game of the season, Duke and UNC, Coach K's last game. That was the best game I saw them playing. They totally dominated Duke in that game. Then you're like, all right, here comes the ACC championship. They didn't play well. Duke got their rear end kicked against Virginia Tech. I think for both teams, those two teams, the way they lost and how they went down in the tournament, I think was the best thing. They were able to refocus. This is the best that Duke has played all season. And you could see it. You watched the Michigan State game. They were down, 5 or 7 with the last.
Yeah, they're down 5 with 5 minutes left. They overcame it. And
we'll get into the fight they had, the toughness. The Michigan State team was gritty. And then UNC, you think about, they were blowing out the number 1 team in Baylor, that number 1 seed. Manic gets kicked out of the game, which is BS. Should have never happened. Changed the whole game. They almost blew the game. They were able to hold off. Kansas has kind of been dominant through their tournament run. And then Villanova, if you think about it, they really have been dominant too. I thought Houston was going to give them more issues. They control the game. They are the team that can cause all four of these teams havoc because the way they play. They slow the game down. They have veteran players. They're nitty. They're gritty. They can switch 1 through 5. And you know what? I think if Charles was on this and he was listening to this, he would say, listen, Ted, they have the best coach. And that's a major factor.
And he's had the best success and the most recent success of all these coaches, and that includes Coach K, who hasn't had recent success since 2015, hasn't won a national championship since the Jahlil Okafor days. I mean, and you look at what Jay Wright's doing. That's why you can't count them out. I know Justin Moore is a huge loss to this team because, like you just said it, Ted, the luck that goes with Villanova. Colin Gillespie last season goes down, torn ACL, Big East tournament. They're pretty much their season's done. Now Justin Moore, who you say to you is probably the best player. Well, I think Colin Gillespie, just because he's the heart and soul of that team. But that's the impact that Justin Moore has had on this team. And to see him go down, especially in the situation, the injury too, and the impact that he brings to this team, cannot count out Villanova because they have that never say die attitude, and it's because of their head coach. And I believe that, I mean, we're all talking about Duke, UNC. Coach K could be last game ever, but it's a Final Four. But this Nova Kansas game is going to be just as exceptional as the night game. I mean, you look at these games. I mean, usually you have the 6:09 game, which is like, you're into it. The night game, the 9 o'clock game. You're sitting on your couch at 6 o'clock. You're like, I can't wait to watch the Kansas and Villanova game. I mean, Villanova.
Absolutely, because you got two great coaches. You got two great, I'll say franchises, but basketball teams. You got Kansas is loaded. They're deeper than Villanova. They're loaded. They got bigs that can play down low. They got guys that can shoot the three. They got NBA talent. They have everything that you want, right? Their overall team might be the best team right now of the four teams, even though Duke seems to be the favorite, but maybe that's a Duke bias. Villanova, people are not giving Villanova their due because of the loss of Justin Moore. And here's the thing. Villanova is not a high-scoring team. They've only scored
also, you got to take
they've only scored over 71 points once in their last 12, 15 games. And when you have a guy like Justin Moore who averages 15 and a half points a game, that's significant. Colin Gillespie is the he's the general, bro. He's the nucleus. He's the best leader right now of all four teams. You look at that first game. What I take away from this game is, can Villanova play their game? And what I mean by that is, can they continually slow the game down? Can they play their type of game? I think if Villanova has a chance to win, it has to be in the 60s. It starts getting into the 70s and 80s, it's a game over.
Kansas likes to run it. They like that up tempo.
And I would say, when I say double digits, I say 8, 10, 12 points. And I think just because of their depth and their size and their skill, they'll just end up wearing out Villanova. But if Villanova, you're watching the game right now, it's like 23, 25, halftime 25, 20.
The final score against Houston was 50-44. Also, you said it too. The biggest thing, and I think it could be the ultimate deciding factor, is the depth. They're undermanned. They already run a 6-man lineup. With the loss of Justin Moore, that's just going to add more pressure to this offense that, they're going to slow the game down, but you're also going to be having to play a team like Kansas that likes to run in transition, up-tempo. They can score at will. Who's going to have – which strength is going to overcome the others? That's what it's going to come down to. Is Nova going to be able to slow the game down where they want it at their pace, where they want it in their type of point range in the sense of how they've been playing? Houston – it was 25-23, Ted, you were saying. I saw that too. I'm like, geez, anybody want to shoot the ball? That's what Nova does best. They slow it down. They're like the Big East. They slow the game down, and that's why teams struggle against them.
Well, and here's the other thing.
Can that style of play be able to stop the style of play of Kansas, who likes to run, likes to play inside? They got Frank McCormick, one of the better players, going to be a high draft pick coming in this upcoming draft. They have players on the team. They're going to run through him. And is it just on Villanova? Being undermanned as it is, can they kind of overcome that glaring weakness of Justin Moore's absence, Ted.
Well, here's the other thing. If you want to look at it, Villanova, they can bring guys off the bench, but when you get, it's like the NBA playoffs. Your bench gets smaller. You get to a 7-man rotation, and
but the bench becomes more valuable in the playoffs.
The bench becomes now valuable. What doesn't hurt Villanova is it doesn't matter. They can switch 1 through 5, and they're used to it. Here's the other big thing that I think: if this game is close late in the second half,
it's playing into this. That's a plus. That's a win for Nova.
Yes, you're right, but it's free throw shooting. Villanova is about to set the record for best free throw percentage shooting in the history of college basketball.
Yes.
And if you saw the game against Miami, now it didn't play a factor because I think Kansas went on a 25-7
Kansas
run. And it didn't matter. But if you saw their free throw shooting, I believe they were 6 for 15 at one point. And you would say, "Oh, that doesn't make it." No, it's going to make it because Villanova versus Houston at one point was 15 of 15, and
free throw shooting,
all free throws. So make your free throws. If it's a close game, Villanova wins. Villanova wins that tight game because of their defense and free throw. But I think overall, though, Kansas is going to find a way to pull it out. I know you want to make predictions, but I say Kansas wins because of their depth, because of their talent. I think that Justin Moore is playing in this game. I would have taken Villanova. I just think his loss is that significant. He might be their best overall player. Gillespie will say, he's the general. He might be the guy where you want to take the shot at the end, but Justin Moore is their guy. All right. Slater, Samuels, they're all going to have to step up. I'm not even going to try to pronounce his last name. His brother played on the team a couple years ago when they won the chip.
Arcidiacono.
Yeah, whatever.
I got you. Let the little brother do it. Little brother come in and help.
Speech impediment. Let's get some water in their mouth.
You also said that too.
I'll tell you one thing. It will be a closer game than a lot of people think. Villanova. When's the last time you've seen Villanova get blown out? That's what I would say. When's the last time? So if you're getting 4.5 for Kansas, take it for Villanova. Take the plus 4.5. But Kansas.
Here's my thing. I'm going to make this quick and very short and simple. You made a great point. Free throws matter, and free throws are a huge part, an integral part. Late games, postseason play too, conference tournaments, NCAA tournaments. And if people don't think free throws are a big deal, just go ask Derrick Rose and the Memphis Tigers. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, go check it out on YouTube. You'll know what I'm saying. Free throws matter, especially in these situations. And Ted, I think I'm going to agree with you as well on this because of the fact that the absence of Justin Moore and their shorthanded play match up to the style of Kansas. And that's what it comes down to. Can Villanova slow the game down? If they do, they have a legitimate shot because they can rely on that free throw game where we know they're about to make some history. They're that damn good at the free throw line. If they get to Kansas, if it goes Kansas's way, then we could be seeing a blowout. All in all, this game should be like it is. Nova, Kansas. Historical programs should be a historical matchup. Speaking, ladies and gentlemen, of a historical matchup, the 100th meeting of the Coach K era at Duke in the Final Four, ladies and gentlemen, Duke, North Carolina, for a chance at a national championship. Boy, oh boy, if you would have told me that this was going to be the Final Four matchup coming out of these brackets, these regions.
Should have known.
It was supposed to be a storybook. This is what this game is. It's storybook. Coach K losing the last game and Cameron getting almost embarrassed, and he was embarrassed on national TV to see UNC, to meet up again for part 3. We thought we were going to get in the conference tournaments, but the Virginia Tech Hokies shocked everybody and won the whole thing. No, we're getting it in the Final Four. We're spoiled. We are if you're a college basketball fan, let's be honest, these matchups, if you're not interested in watching these matchups because of the teams, shame on you. Because as a college I know Duke is in it. I'm a Duke fan. But if teams like this, if this was Kentucky versus UNC, I'm watching this.
I bet the ratings for this game go down as one of the 3 best college basketball rating. It might not be the best game, but ratings wise,
yes.
Because of the Final Four, epic. You think about this. It's game 3 of the season, right? So that means they win the season series.
It's the trilogy.
You got Coach K, who's 50-49 against UNC. All right. You got You got the Final Four, which goes into it to lead to the national championship. If UNC wins, they would say they ended Coach K's career. They ended the home game, and and there would be bragging rights forever.
Let's be honest, Ted. Ted, let's be honest. If UNC beats Duke again in the Final Four, with on top of beating Ingram and Crazies, and Coach K's last home game, yeah, I would say the bragging rights hold for a long time.
I mean, I think the NCAA. Some people wanted St. Peter's win. Some people wanted other teams. Sometimes you don't like. Sometimes
you saw the difference.
This is the best possible matchup, and I think the 4 best teams that you could have gotten for the NCAA Final Four. You literally get one of the best coaches in Jay, right? I mean, you get 4 great coaches. Hubert Davis, though, is a rookie coach. It's his first year. It's pretty remarkable what he's done for North Carolina. Beginning of the season, they didn't look like they were even going to make the tournament. They got hot at the end of the season. They beat Duke at home. They made the tournament. They're really not an 8 seed, and we've seen this before because this happened a couple years ago when Kentucky was an 8 seed, and they should have never been.
With Julius Randle.
Utah State was the 1 seed, and the NCAA plays these.
Who they played? You know who they played, by the way?
They played UConn.
Gotcha.
But UConn,
who was a 7 seed?
Yeah, so I think this is the best possible matchup for the NCAA. It's crazy because you wonder who's got more pressure, right? So I would say Duke has more pressure in this game.
Easy. It's Duke. It's easy. Duke has the most pressure of any. If I had to rank the pressure wise of all these 4 teams, it's Duke. Of course,
because every game has been
Listen. All the pressure out of 1 through 4. I'm going to rank it for you. I want you to listen very carefully. It's Duke. It's Duke. It's Duke, and it's Duke. Because think about it. This is it. Like, Jay Wright's coming back. Bill Seflin's coming back. Hubert Davis is not going away for a while either. Coach K, this is it. This is you are 40 minutes away. Take away any overtime if there is. You are 40 minutes away from possibly saying goodbye to the game that you have loved and have mastered for so long. It's Duke, and it's only Duke. They're the odds-on favorite to call in this Final Four right now. They have the best betting odds. Then it's Kansas, then Nova, and UNC is a plus 500. So if I'm ranking the pressure, it's very simple. There's no other answer but Duke. These teams will be back. Some will lose some key players, but they're all going to be back. These coaches will be back. I know Duke's going to lose players, but they're losing Coach K. The pressure is all on Duke. If you lose this game, bragging rights for maybe forever. If UNC wins the whole thing, we'll have bragging rights forever.
I will put it this way. The way I look at it is if UNC beats Duke is the same way the Red Sox fans can still go back and say, we beat you down 3-0 and we won the World Series. It's not that we got 27 championships.
Yeah, who gives them? They got away.
They're the only team in Major League Baseball history to be down 3-0 in an ALCS, beat you at home, and then we won our first World Series in 80,000 years.
86 years.
And that's all that really matters.
And you know what? Red Sox fans deserve to be that way because
you know what? They have been great since that moment. Now, I believe these teams won't change because Duke's got a hell of a class coming in. He got the number 1 player in the country coming in. We just saw him the other night in the All-American game, 7-2 center. He's remarkable. Villanova player. They got some. No, listen, these teams will reload like they do every year. That's what happens. Listen, I think.
What's the key? What do you think is the key?
Finds a way to win.
What do you think is the key?
Listen, Roach, the point guard Roach. Listen, Powell will do his thing. Banchero, he has done his thing. You look at UNC, they're not deep. They only go 6 or 7 men, really, only 6.
Duke's the same way. Duke runs
Baycott cannot get in foul trouble. Davis, their point guard, has been really good. Manic has been tremendous. Might have been their best player throughout the tournament.
He doesn't miss.
He can stretch the floor.
He catches the ball, shoots, and it's just always swish. I've never seen the man miss, I feel like. It's a swish.
I think Roach, his play, his leadership, and his ability to break down the defense late in the possessions and late in the shot clock has really made a difference for Duke.
The defenders up.
Yeah. I didn't realize this kid was a top 10 prospect, but the kid Griffin, number 21 from Duke, has been a key contributor for this team. And here's the other thing. I didn't really watch Duke until late in the season. I really didn't follow NCAA until later in the season because, football is still on and other things. But kid Malik Williams, I mean, he's been Mark Williams, the big kid.
Yeah.
I mean, he is an impactful. I mean, what
having let's be honest, Dad. Having a presence in the middle like that, 7 feet, big man, that is a rim protector. That's the most important player in this entire game.
Well, and how does he match up with the big
hold on,
guy?
listen. And then I'm putting Armando Bacot, like you said, those are the 2 most important players in this game because, I mean, Mark Williams has changed this defense. I mean, this defense and the way Duke has been playing defense in this tournament, just like UNC has, Mark Williams, just having that presence in the middle of that defense is so important, so vital to the Duke success. Paolo Banchero should be the number 1 pick in this coming draft. That man is a star. He's a 6'10" guy that can stretch the floor. He can shoot from anywhere on the floor. He plays solid defense. This team is young, but they also got some veterans like Wendell Moore Jr., who was there last year, was there for a couple years.
And that's why I think how Duke handles – here's the thing.
I think Duke is handling –
hold on. They've handled the tournament really well, right, every game.
It all starts – let's be honest.
But here's the thing. We know this tremendously watching college basketball our whole lives is how do teams handle the Final Four pressure? Because here's the thing. The other thing is now they're playing in a bigger stadium. Remember, you don't usually play in a basketball arena. They play in like the football stadiums. Yeah. So you got the bigger arena. You got 60,000 people instead of 18,000. The shooting ability because the stadium's bigger. How do these teams get focused? Right? How do they focus?
For leadership,
he's been there. He'll know how to focus. Hubert Davis. He's been there as an assistant coach. Can't remember, and I wish I looked this up, if he's ever been there as a former player. He probably has. Yeah. But he's played in the NBA, he's played in huge games before, so he knows. But how do these 8-year-old kids handle this pressure, right? I think you look at Villanova, a lot of these kids have been there before. They know kind of how to handle it, so is Kansas. But how do the Duke and UNC young kids, how do they handle this pressure? Listen, I think the storybook continues. Not that I'm rooting for him, but I just think Duke is on.
You can say you can root for. It's okay. It's okay. You can say you want to root for your brother.
No, it's not even that. I just think Duke is on a mission.
Not even that.
Here's the thing, though. These 2 teams are playing unbelievable basketball. I think UNC easily can win. Not easily win this game, but I think they could win this game if they continue to play like they have. If they play like they did against Baylor and Manick is shooting the 3 and Davis is breaking out deep and Bacot, I mean, he's got 29 double-doubles so far this season. He's been a double-double machine. So, we also talk about this. Maybe the biggest factor in the game that we're not talking about is the officiating. How do they officiate the game? Do they let these kids play, or do they start calling every little nicky-nack foul? And then teams like UNC or Duke who are not as depth, you start getting foul trouble, and that changes the whole perspective of the game.
You got to go to your back pocket for those changes. You got to go. You got to go deep into the pocket.
I think Duke finds a way to win this game late and sets up a Kansas-Duke matchup on Monday night for the national championship, and then we'll see what happens there.
Oh, it's very simple. Duke's winning this game. Duke's not losing twice in a row to UNC. I mean, it's an amazing story what UNC's done.
Don't jinx them.
I know, but I have to be confident in my team. This team has been playing. Let's be honest, guys. To you, Ted. These 4 teams playing you really saw the difference of where these 4 teams were compared to the other 4. UNC was clearly better than St. Peter's. I know people wanted to see the little Cinderella story, but the Cinderella story died very quickly in that game. There was never a chance. Same with Miami and Kansas. Kansas really, second half, really took it to the Hurricane, to Miami Hurricanes. Yes, that's their name. My God, we're just so used to calling them the U. I forget what the U. That's all we call them, the U. But also, you saw Villanova and Houston, which what you thought was going to be a very close game, but really Nova never really always had grasp of the game.
They controlled the game for pretty much the whole from start to finish.
So these are the 4 best teams playing. I'm saying to myself as a Duke fan, I'm very confident to see how this team has grown from that UNC game to where they're going to play tomorrow night against this same UNC team. It all changed that Michigan State game. Being down 5 minutes left in the game against a Tom Izzo team who we know how they are historically in the tournament. They win games like that. They hold on and prevail. Duke found a way. And that right there really showed me a lot of heart, a lot of grit that this team has, and a lot of fight that they're fighting for their coach and they're fighting for his last game. 2 more games left possibly for Coach K. They want him to go out with number 6. They're going to win tomorrow. It's going to be a classic, I believe, as well. Both of these games will be classics. I will be shocked if these games are not, but I expect it to be. As a college basketball fan and as a sports fan, just sit back, relax, and enjoy 4 historical programs going for the richest prize in college basketball. Speaking of richest prizes, well, there were a lot of prizes in this offseason of the NFL. The question is, which one was the greatest? You see what all these moves are. And I know today is April Fool's Day. Well, you hear all these like people posting all the signings. Well, at one point, for some time, for these first couple months, it was like that. Now we had to look at our phones like, wait, what? Like, who got traded? Like, this is what it's
every
been.
day.
Yes, every day. It's taking a little break, but we're still seeing moves. Up until yesterday, a huge move happened again. My question to you, Ted, is of all these moves, and for them, all these moves, impactful moves to what they all want ultimately, and the richest prize in the NFL is a Super Bowl title. To you, I know this is going to be a tough one because, well, good luck trying to pick it. But to you, which NFL offseason move, this could be trade or free agent signing, will have the greatest impact for their new team?
The unretirement of Tom Brady.
Oh, get the hell out of here.
Dude, it's simple. He brought back his players. He comes back.
We were
talking about Tampa Bay going, oh my God, who's going to be their quarterback? What are they going to be? They're going to drop off. I mean, who is going to be their quarterback?
You really said that. I want to mute you now. I want to mute you. You should have just said Aaron Rodgers was the biggest move then.
He got his center to come back. He got the cornerback Davis to come back. He got Leonard Fournette to come back. He's going to get Gronk to come back. He's going to get someone else. He got Bruce Arians to take a leave of absence so Todd Bowles could be the head coach. So him and Brian Leftwich can run the offense.
I wish Byron Leftwich got a shot. But you're so
well,
you should have just said, well, Aaron Rodgers going back to the Packers was the biggest.
No.
That's just boring.
Because Aaron Rodgers' impact going back to the Packers screwed them and made Devontae Adams leave.
No, I don't. It never screwed him.
Here's the other thing. He
wanted to go to be a Raider.
Here's another move I really like, and I'm gonna put it as
no.
No,
I'm gonna go first. Let me go because I let you. That's how it works.
If you want to,
I'm gonna get you. Hold on. I'm gonna go first. Let me say my part, and then I'll get him back on. Hold on. Mine, to me, realistically, is the move that just happened yesterday.
That's where I was going. I was going to say Bobby Wagner's move because they're going to have 3 levels of they're going to have the best defensive lineman on the line.
Could be the best defensive player in the league. Probably the best defensive player.
Okay, but I look at this. If you're ranking players, right, you're going to have one of the best D linemen. You're going to have one of the best linebackers. And then in the secondary, you're going to have one of the best cornerbacks in all football, right? Yeah. You're going to have 3 stars at every level of your defense.
3 Hall of Famers. You're having 3 Hall of Famers on the same. I mean, Aaron Donald's going to go down as a top 10 defensive player, maybe top 5 defensive player of all time. Bobby Wagner is going to go down as one of the greatest linebackers of all time. Jalen Ramsey's probably going to go down. Will probably go down as one of the greatest cornerbacks of all time. This without question was, to me, the most impactful move. I know all the moves that happened in the AFC West. I know the moves that happened in the AFC North with Deshaun Watson. But to me, this is the biggest and greatest impact that it's going to have on one team. And it just so happens that it's the Super Bowl champs. And that's why
you take away from your division champ. You take away from your division champ in Seattle.
Yes. But also think about this. Yes, they lose Von Miller. I get that. It's a huge loss. I get it. Andrew Whitworth is probably going to be the biggest loss for them overall, because you can't lose a Hall of Famer, a left tackle. It's just you have to you can try to replicate it. It's going to be a tough process. Also, you lose Robert Woods, who was a stud receiver, a huge part into that offensive success. Well, You picked up Allen Robinson, who's not a bad number 2 to team up with
Could be a
Cooper
number
Kupp
1.
and Van Jefferson at number 3 with Tyler Higbee too. You get this defense, like you added Bobby Wagner, to some still the best linebacker in all of football. And it just already added to a defense that is already stout. So I know there's been many moves in this AFC, but the greatest impact is going to be in the NFC. Well, and it's Bobby Wagner, because they are the champs. They just added. I mean, come on, it doesn't even make sense.
Well, here's my thought.
Hustle, take this. Listen to this. I know people say, "Oh, well, they lost Von Miller." Okay, Leonard Floyd,
Greg Gaines, Aaron Donald, and they'll still find pieces. Here's the thing:
A'Shaun Robinson, who was a beast too.
You're going to get a and people forget this. It's not always about talent; it's about smarts. That's why, like Tyrann Mathieu, wherever he goes, if he goes to the Bucs, could be a huge significant. Where he goes could play a major role on how a team advances. I look at Bobby Wagner, one of the best linebackers in the game. Doesn't miss games. Rarely, I don't think he's missed any games. Okay, so he's on the field. One of the biggest weaknesses the Rams did have is in their linebacker core. You get one of the best linebackers. Here's another thing people are not realizing. The Rams sub packages are multiple, and they do more so than a lot of teams in the NFL defensively. So when you're subbing in and out, you don't have to worry about what linebacker and what guy you have to. You can leave Bobby Wagner in the game on first down, on second down, and third down. His ability to call the defense, be a leader of the team. I mean, you think about the Seattle Seahawks, as much as we're talking about Legion Boom, we're talking about the thing. It was Bobby Wagner. He's calling the defense. He's the quarterback. He's the orchestrator.
He's the leader of the defense. The middle linebacker is always.
And now you think about this. Now he's going to sit behind Greg Gaines and Aaron Donald. They're going to sit right in front of him in the front row, and he's going to sit right behind him and have his pick at where he wants to go and how he dictates. And that's just another – the way I look at it is NFL, you have talent, and then you have veterans that bring a whole different dynamic to the game, right? And you look at a guy like Tyrann Mathieu, you look at some of these veteran players, what Bobby Wagner does for that defense. Aaron Donald's an unbelievable player, but he's at the D-line. He really can't call the defense and do things. Bobby Wagner's smarts and ability to make sure, and that is part of the reason why Eric Weddle was such a significant pickup when they had their safety loss. What he did for them in the playoffs to come up, it's about veteran presence. Listen, you can be the quickest, fastest, strongest guy in the field. But if you don't know where the hell you're going and what the teams are doing, that's why like Tom Brady and Peyton Manning and some of these quarterbacks, you can be Kyler Murray. You can run around all the field. Do you know where to go to the blow? Do you know where the blitz is? Do you know do you know where your read is? Do you know
the smarts? Do you have the smarts to do it?
And you're taking away from a division opponent like the Seattle Seahawks. Now, not the Seattle Seahawks who are going to give you a run for your money for the division, but still, you're playing against Seattle twice a year now. It's that much more impactful to your team. I mean, that'd be like if Brady left New England and went to Miami or the Jets. I mean, just the impact that has on that team.
Well, don't just say it ain't so. That's still a possibility. We don't know what's going to happen with that whole thing fiasco. That could be.
But I mean, I love that move, and I love the Allen Robinson move. To lose Robert Woods to pick up Allen Robinson.
This is what I wanted to say quickly about this whole thing. So.
I just want to know where the Rams' money's coming from.
And please.
How they paid Stafford, how they're going to give Aaron Donald an extension, how they gave
Stafford already got paid. Stafford's paid. Aaron Donald looks like he could be playing for maybe another couple of years. And it doesn't seem like he's going to be long term. Maybe he might be retiring early on, but it's already a Hall of Fame career. So if you wanted
they're talking about an extension with him right now.
If so, I hope so, because I want to see the best player on the field at all times. So you think about these quarterbacks that are going to have to face this defense. Oh, man, how am I going to be able to deal with Aaron Donald? Oh, don't worry. We got the short intermediate routes in the middle of the field because they don't got no linebackers. Oh, no, they have Bobby Wagner now. Oh, no, we're just going to throw it deep. Oh, they got Jalen Ramsey. Good luck trying to stop that Rams team. That's already – I know they lose Von Miller, but that's great to have a guy like Leonard Floyd back on that team, to be on that team as well. Because now you could just add him to an already stout defense. There's been so many moves, but to me, seeing Bobby Wagner, like if you went to the Ravens, that could have been a huge move, but going to the Rams, that just is a game changer to an already, well, let's be honest, it's a very weak conference compared to the AFC. So a move like this just gives the champs that much more of a chance to repeat. But it's been one hell of an offseason, ladies and gentlemen, to say the least. We got a lot more coming down the line. We got MLB preview coming next week with the Joseph McGuire returning after his triumphant return to the airwaves, Ted. Also, we're going to be talking about, starting next week, me and Ted, we're going to start talking about the uncertainty of the top 7 of this NFL draft and the uncertainty surrounding this entire NFL draft, because I asked Ted, I don't know what's going to be the number 1 pick. I don't know what player is going to be. I don't know what position it's going to be. Is it going to be a defensive lineman? Is it going to be an offensive lineman? It's just that much more intriguing in this NFL offseason. Plus, let's enjoy this Final Four, women's and men's, because you got 8 historical programs battling it out for a chance at a title. I can't wait. Go Blue Devils, Ted. Come on, are you rooting for them at least? Yeah, like if you're ranking who you're rooting for, I need to know your top before we get out of here.
I don't have a ranking.
Well, like if you're ranking like who are you rooting for the most?
So I got my brother who's a Duke fan. I got my buddy Charles who's a Villanova fan. So I guess I should just root for those 2 teams. I have no affiliation with Kansas. I have no affiliation with UNC.
You like UNC though.
I used to always like UNC. Other than UConn. Maybe it was just the powder blue uniforms, and then you got the Blue Devils. But I'll root for the Dukies, and I'll root for Villanova. Even though I picked against Villanova, I'll root for them. I just don't think. I don't.
What
think
if they play the national champion? We'll have to be back Monday for.
Yeah.
What if they play though? What if they both play against each other? Who are you picking? Better not be picking your friends. You're gonna pick me. You're gonna be picking me because it ain't gonna be much better for you, kid. Ladies and gentlemen, we are Keys to the City. We're streaming on all social media platforms at Keys to the City. So comment, like, subscribe, or share, or follow. Or you could also check out clovercrestmedia.com for many more podcasts. Ladies and gentlemen, we are Keys to the City. We are out.
Yeah. Keys to the city, baby. When you see us, so you know you really viewing greatness in the making. Double up on facts we stating. Podcasting, cruise control, city, state, the nation. So what you saying, what we saying, prime information. Facts, keys to the city, we unlocking the statements.
Streaming every Friday.